It's nice to come in here on a Monday after a nice Thursday win. I had a good weekend like I told you I would. Got a lot of work done and got a head start on Virginia Tech, which is where our focus is right now. I thought it was an impressive win, for our kids, on Thursday night. I love the effort they played with. They played hard, flew around, played tough, were physical. And obviously, we weren't perfect. I didn't say the word perfect, but we were physical. And, we found a way to win that football game like we have all year. You can call it ugly or you can call it pretty, whatever you want to. In the end, it's about W's. And, that's what our guys produce. And, I'm impressed. The offense, who sits on this side of the room, really had a nice afternoon or evening. Was impressed with them. Defensively, probably a little bit disappointed in really their performance and what they did. And again, Sam Howell's a good quarterback. Made some nice throws. But when you watch the videotape and you look at the details, it was about the details and the little tiny things that if we'd have done those better. I mean, we gave up one big run, which, linebacker takes the back door, and it's like, what are you doing? But when you do that, that's when you get beat, and that's why you give up yards. So, again, a lot of the finer details were missed. And I think as much as, everybody pats the defense on the back, like I told you, you get evaluated at the end of the year. We evaluate them weekly, but we don't, give them stars on their piece of paper. But they didn't play up to par, the expectations of what we have from them. So, so we'll have a better outing this weekend, I promise you that. So obviously we got a hot Virginia Tech football team, and Bud Foster on defense, and Justin Fuente, I think, runs the offense or has his hands in it very heavily. They're talented. They've turned it around since the Duke game, where I think everybody in the country looked and said, "Oh man, this is going to be an easy one." Now we get to mid-November, late November, and find that we're going to have a battle on our hands down in Blacksburg. So they're well coached, they're tough, they're physical, they like to run the football, and again, they're playing with a lot of confidence right now with 5 straight wins. So I think the turnaround. EJ asked me walking down the hallway, "What's the turnaround?" I said, "You're not a reporter. Stop asking me those questions." But you're really, their quarterback, the Hooker kid who we recruited out of high school, we offered him. Has been really sound. He's thrown 8 TDs, no interceptions. He gives them a chance to be in every football game because he's taking care of the football. And then defensively, obviously, Bud Foster and their defense, they're always going to be attacking you and getting after you. So it's well coached football team. So questions.
Yeah, it's been a long season. Obviously, you guys have been going strong since summertime with the guys even before training camp. How do you keep a team fresh this time of year?
You go to the zoo. We were at the zoo yesterday. Went to go check out the animals. The giraffes and the lions and the tigers. The kids had a good time. The seals. How do you keep them fresh? I think the best way to keep them fresh is to win. I think people get worn down when you lose. I think it's easy to be fresh when you win, and I think winning football games, guys stay fresh that way. And obviously, we want to take care of their bodies physically in the training room and in recovery with our strength coaches. But nobody's fresh at this time physically, but mentally, we'll start to trim practice a little bit this late in the game. But it's all part of the game.
What if you trim it?
Like that. But every minute counts.
Is that the best game you've seen Kenny Pickett play on Thursday night?
Not really. He's played a lot of good games. It's one of them. I mean, I'd say it's one of the top, 5 or 6 of them that he was just on fire. I mean, he didn't miss much when you watch the tape. I mean, he ran well. He knew, he threw it away when he wanted, when he should have, and that's what we expect out of him. Again, I think he just gets more and more comfortable. Put that tape on and put the Virginia tape on at the beginning of the year. It's a different dude. But it's called coaching, and our offense staff's done a nice job with him, and obviously Coach Whipple.
What's the situation with Reese?
Day by day. Day by day.
Dealt with a player with a broken jaw before?
Never.
I was just curious if that's different. I mean, obviously it's different than saying someone has a sprained knee or something like that.
Right.
I don't know if that's something you can play through. Or
it comes down to his pain tolerance. He feels like he is. We're going to make sure we protect him, and we'll make a good decision. He'll make a good decision, and we'll figure out where he is, by Thursday.
Virginia Tech is a top 5 red zone offense in the country. What's allowed them to be so successful when they get down there and finish drives?
Because they run the football and they run it well. I mean, that's kind of how they're made. They're going to throw fades into the end zone, when they get down in the red zone. But and they got they'll switch up and put Patterson in there, a quarterback who's 240 pounds. He's a tailback that runs like a fullback, and he's big like a fullback. So, they do a good job. Justin Fuente does a great job, game planning. And when they get down there, they try to get 7 points instead of 3. It's a big deal.
Coach, when your team gives up those 2 quick touchdowns in the fourth quarter and they stop them to field goal and then stop them in overtime to win, what's that kind of say about their bounce back and their confidence?
You got to love it. Things happen. Like I said, it's a game of inches and details, and our guys didn't take care of some details. But when it counted, they made those plays. And, that holding them to a field goal after they give up 2 touchdowns, and it's like, our kids could have that mentality like, here we go again. But they didn't. They made plays. They were relentless. And then in overtime, they got 8 plays and 8 yards is all they got in overtime out of 8 plays. They had to go for it on 4th down twice just to get it. It's again it started with our offense scoring a touchdown, so they had to match the touchdown. So they had to go for it on 4th down. But it just tells you who those guys are and what they got in that chest cavity, I think.
To follow up on that, how encouraged have you been to see this team win close games, but also win them in different ways? And is that a sign of growth and maturity and toughness?
It is. Our guys, like I said, I used the word relentless earlier. The kids play hard and they believe. And, you can have all these pretty blowout wins, but do you find out who you really are? Our guys, I think we know who they are. I think when it gets down to a fourth quarter in Blacksburg, we'll know what we're going to get. Our guys aren't going to quit, regardless of what the score is. Our guys are going to keep going, believing that they've got a chance. I can't say everybody's like that, but I think everybody likes these blowout wins and all that, and they're nice, whatever. It doesn't, does it tell you who you are? And that's what's been most impressive about our kids.
What is specifically special about Bud Foster's defense? What has made him successful over the years?
Number one is his continuity. He's been there for so long. He knows the kids. He knows the area, and he obviously understands the game of football. He's a great X and O's guy, and he's a great motivator, and he gets those guys going. So that's why Bud Foster's a legend, and he's only got a couple games left.
Has he done it different ways? Blitzing teams and input as much.
Yeah, they play a lot of tight man coverage. Is really what he's known for. Is his man coverage and the way they attack the line of scrimmage. They've always had great players up, in their front 7. And they've had great safeties. One playing next door.
As a former defensive coordinator yourself, you do appreciate kind of how long he's been at it.
Well, I can appreciate it, in the world of coaching, no doubt about it. It's the same place too for that long. Shows you he's a loyal guy, and he obviously loves where he lives. Yeah,
Going back to last year's game, 52-22, it's so different. The personnel's so different. Did you take much from that game last year?
You watch it, you look at it, you obviously change things up from what you did a year ago. So you're never going to keep anything the same. You have to do something different offensively and defensively if you think you're going to come out and run the same run game that we had so much success with 2 big old tailbacks that I guess Quadri scored his first touchdown. Congratulations to him with the Falcons. But, it's a totally different football team. And last year doesn't matter. 2 years ago doesn't matter. It just, it's like it's 2019. It's this football team. It's the talent and the personnel you have right now that you have to deal with and work with.
You mentioned briefly posting with Jared Wayne getting 4 catches, 30 yards, and obviously it was that 5th game, so kind of redshirt. What have you seen out of him, and especially on Thursday?
Jared Wayne would have played a lot more had he was a little nicked up for a few weeks, and we didn't know if he'd get back to get that 5th game in. And then when Maurice got banged up a little bit, it's like, this guy's got to go. He's our next best option. But what we've seen is a big old target. The one thing Kenny says, I can see him coming across the middle. He's not this little guy running across. You can see a big target over the middle that he can find and see, and he's smooth. He runs really well. and he's going to be a great receiver in this in this conference.
It'd be encouraging to see that a true freshman back with that this early.
No doubt about it. He had one little error, at the end where he didn't get lined up, and we had a little league of motion, which was pretty critical. But that's going to happen with freshmen, true freshmen.
Why do you think Hobb has been able to transition so quickly?
Because he's got Italian blood. I don't know.
I said Jeff for that.
Yeah, you did. I don't know.
How about Shockey Jacques Louis stepping up big?
Shockey's a good player. Love the way Larry says that name. It just, will never be the same. But, Shockey's fast. Shockey's, one of the fastest guys on our team. We saw it, 2 years ago in camp. I guess his freshman year in camp, just go take off, and the ball looked like it was overthrown. All of a sudden, you saw this guy go. But we're happy where he is right now. He's healthy, and that's been the big thing, is just keeping him healthy, Larry. He's got to keep him going. I think he's got a little confidence right now, too. That was a catch, too, by the way. We'll leave it right there.
Do you have any conversations with
No.
him? Have you spoken Italian with Hobb at all?
No, I don't. No capiche about that.
Seriously though, what has been a big thing with him? I mean, he played high school football in this country for 1 year.
Obviously, he's a talented guy. He's athletic, and I'll say this, for guys that haven't played that much, sometimes it's better not to play that much. You don't build any bad habits. Some guys have been playing it. I was playing it since I was 4. Yeah, you've been doing that same stuff since you were 4. I wish we would have had you when we were earlier. He doesn't have a bunch of bad habits. He's very coachable. He's smart. And Coach Partridge, again, gets all the credit. He's developed him into a football player. And again, it's not necessarily the knowledge, Jerry. It's really coming off that injury that he had, and to play like he's playing right now has been the most impressive thing. And probably the guy nobody's talking about, Patrick Jones, and you're talking about Hobb. Let's talk about Deslin. The 2 plays he made in that, fourth quarter, last drive. The last play of the game, he gets a piece of that quarterback's arm, and that's why that ball flutters. I mean, that guy's got a motor. Deslin has played outstanding, and he had a heck of a game and made some critical plays in the end where he takes a tight end and drives him right into the quarterback, and the quarterback throws it on a second down into the dirt. It's because of Hobb, or because of Deslin and what he did.
Had 21 of your 45 sacks this year have come on third down. Is that just it's come from a lot of different guys too? Does that just kind of show the depth and the ability to tee off on third and long?
It's depth. I mean, obviously, you'd love to get them to third down and long, and it's depth. It's our kids believing in what they're doing. We get into that package, and we think it's an elite package. We think we do some stuff in that package that a lot of people can't do. Coach Whipple hates seeing it, in preseason camp. There's just a lot of different things coming, and we got some new twists for this week as well that maybe nobody's seen yet. I think that's there's a lot of stuff coming at you, and you got to pick it up, and it's not easy. We played, we didn't play great on Saturday on third down, and that's kind of one of the disappointing things. So we got to change some things up a little bit and take the next step.
Sid was not on the depth chart. Do you expect him to travel?
I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, he's been out, so I just figured I'd make a change so you would notice and talk about him. Said he's getting better.
Were you satisfied with the amount of mental errors, penalties, and stuff against North Carolina?
Not really. Sometimes the aggressive penalties are going to happen. You wish they'd all get called the same way. But Amir Watts' penalty on our sideline was no good. I'm really not going to address the rest of them, but that was a bad penalty by him. It was late. It didn't look as late from the sideline as it does when you watch the videotape. But that's why you have to watch the tape before you make too many comments. But I'm never happy with one flag. On punt team we had a delay game, which is our first delay game of the season, I believe. We've seen a few of those in the past, and then we got a false start. So it's like there's some details that still bother me. It's new guys playing some positions at times, whether it's our personal protector who's really on our third personal protector in a punt team. So there's some new things that happen out there that we just got to adjust to and get some guys some work.
Can you
talk to your guys, and you had 3 guys checked this year for targeting. Do you talk to them about the situation?
Well, that's 2 more than we've had in the 4 previous seasons. So, not happy with it. I watched games on Saturday like you guys did, and I saw some things get turned over by the SEC and the Big Ten or whatever conference you're watching. And I don't. I'm going to have to go to school and find out what targeting is. But that's as far as I'll go.
Off-season thing, coaches can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk all we want. It doesn't matter what we talk about. I mean, we're playing football the way it needs to be played, and again, aggressive penalties are going to happen. I don't like to see any targeting calls. We had one by Patrick Jones at Virginia, I guess a year ago, and that was the only one that I can think of in all my years. And to have 3 in 1 year and have guys sitting in the locker room, is not why we coach football. That's not why our kids come to Pitt, and I don't like seeing it all. So I don't want any of those. I want to have a safe game. I want to protect our kids. I want to protect the other team. But there's some things that are uncontrollable too. So I don't understand. So I guess I'll leave it right there.
That Virginia Tech has maybe the best punter in the country. I know field position, that battle's always important, but when they have a weapon like that on the other side, how much more you kind of focus on that in-game strategy-wise?
Well, it's important. Obviously, it'll be even more important if Maurice is back there or Mike Varsdale or whoever else is we put back there. But he's an outstanding punter, and it's going to change the field. I was happy with what Kessman did last year in his 142-yard net punt, and we'd like to have a weapon like they have, and it's a weapon, and we got to do something to slow it down. So we'll figure that out.
We had a couple opportunities. We're pretty happy with Martell.
Yeah, I mean, again, the couple opportunities we did, he was solid. I think he got one little 8-yard return, and again, the most important thing we say out of our returns is the most important thing is that we have possession of the football at the end of that play. You can get 50-yard returns, you get 8-yard returns, you get no return. The most important thing is we have possession. We've had some problems with that, and wasn't happy with the one that he didn't catch. I think he was lined up too deep at 45 instead of 40, and if he lined up at 40, he would have had to go 4 yards to catch that one ball. We lost 18 yards. So those, but again, another young guy back there doing it for the first time in a big game on a Thursday night.